Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at writing SAQs. Now remember, SAQs are going to be part of your AP exam. They're going to be in the first section of the AP exam, and we're going to go over what that looks like here in just a second. I have linked where this video is posted on Google Classroom, an SAQ like breakdown sheet, and I've screenshotted parts of that sheet and put them in this PowerPoint, and I'm going to be talking about them, okay? So, looking at what an SAQ looks like when it comes to the exam, you're going to write 3 SAQs in 40 minutes. That's like 13-ish minutes for each one, okay? And you're going to be writing on this tiny little piece of paper that I have showed you here. You get one of these pieces of paper for each SAQ. You cannot write outside the lines. They will not grade anything outside of the line. So if you run out of room, you best be writing real tiny down here at the bottom, okay? You will have 3 different SAQs. The first 2 you have to do, and there's different, sometimes they'll give you a passage, sometimes they'll give you a picture, and then the third one you get to choose. They'll give you 2 options, 3 or 4, and there's no pictures, there's no passages, they're just like, they ask you a question, you got to answer it, and you get to choose out of 2 options, okay? Each SAQ has 3 parts, A, B, and C, and you will get 3 points per SAQ. So if they like your part A, check, you get a point. If they like your part B, check, you get a point. If they like your part C, check, you get a point, okay? SAQs are going to be different than writing an essay because they don't need a thesis statement. It's literally just like freaking answer the question is what they want, okay? You only have 23 lines. You have to be pretty concise. You have to fit it within this box. So let's dive in and look at kind of what that looks like. So question 1, they're going to give you a source, and it's going to ask you about a historian's argument. And we're going to take a look at one of those throughout our time this unit, actually, looking at different SAQs, okay? If you want to know more about that, just read here for question 1. Question 2, they're going to give you a primary source, a picture or a passage, and it asks you to basically talk about it. What's going on in this picture? Is there a different example of something like this? Can you compare these things? Did one thing cause another? Okay. And then question 3 or 4, you get to choose between that. And it's just like you got to know it questions. Okay. If you're confused on what some of these mean, you guys can ask me, but we're going to be looking at examples of these. You don't need to worry about it that much right now. So, what is a good way to go about answering these questions then? If it's not supposed to have a thesis statement, it's not supposed to be an essay, it can only fit in those 23 lines, that small piece of paper, and it's got 3 parts, how should I do it? AP teachers, and I'm not the only one, AP World teachers and AP US History teachers like to teach a strategy called ACE. You ace the SAQ. Real cute, I know. ACE stands for ACE, answer, cite, explain. So for each short answer question, you'll have 3 parts, A, B, and C. For each part, you need to use about 3 sentences to answer that part. And those 3 sentences follow this model, A, C, E. So part A would ask me a question. And just in part A, I'm going to answer, which is basically I tell them here it is, answer, and you can use words from the question. Then I'm going to cite the next sentence. Cite is another word for prove. I'm going to give evidence that proves this answer. Okay, and then E, explain the evidence and how it answers the question. You may get really good at these and not have to write 3 sentences to do all of those things. But in the beginning, I'm going to hold your hand a little bit and make you write 3 sentences per part, A, B, and C. Add that up. If A is 3 sentences and B is 3 sentences and C is 3 sentences, it's going to be 9 sentences total on those 23 lines. Okay, so here are some examples. A, one way, blah, and blah, or similar is that blah, blah, blah. For example, and then you would put in a similarity, because, and you would explain why that's important that it's similar, okay? So let's actually do this. I have a silly example here. It is not real. You would not see this on the AP exam. This is just like a real life funny example. So our example has 3 parts. It is an SAQ. I would set a timer for 13 minutes and make you write this. But part A says explain one specific cause of Anderson County High School's implementation of the cell phone caddy policy. You know, when you come to school, you put your phone in the caddy with your number, and your teacher makes sure that you don't have your phone on class, okay? B, explain one specific short-term effect. C, explain one specific long-term effect of the policy. This is very similar to what you might see on the AP exam, except it wouldn't be about cell phone policies. It would be about history. Explain a short-term effect, explain a long-term effect, explain a similarity or a cause, something like that, okay? So let's pretend that I'm going to answer just part A here. I, for the purposes of this, labeled A, C, and E so you can see it. When you write your SAQs, you will not label A, C, and E, ACE on your AP exam. You will just label part A, part B, part C so that they see that you are answering all three of the questions they have asked. But in your head, be thinking, I need to answer, cite, explain, A, C, E, every single part, about 9 sentences total. But for these purposes, I just did part A, okay? So part A. It asked, explain one specific cause of Anderson County High School's implementation of the cell phone caddy policy. Okay, here's my answer. Anderson County High School implements a strict cell phone policy to cut down on distractions in the classroom. That is my answer. Okay, so what is my cite? What is my proving here? This is so that students will be more engaged in their learning and not distracted by social media or texting. Now I need to explain that answer. ACHS administration hopes that implementing this policy will enhance student learning and also eliminate issues that teachers have to deal with rather than focus on their teaching. So I have answered, cited, and explained part A. Okay, we're not going to do B and C because this is just a silly example, but I wanted you to see what that would look like. 3 sentences to answer part A. So let's look at a real history, real world example. And actually, you're going to be doing this exact one for your assignment today. So A, B, and C. 3 parts. There's no picture. There's no passage. You just got to answer it, okay? A, briefly explain one example of how contact between Native Americans and Europeans brought changes to Native American societies in the period from 1492 to 1700. That's the time period that we're learning about right now, okay? B and C you're going to do on your own. So let's just go take a look at A with you and I, okay? I need to answer, cite, explain A. About 3 sentences. Here's an example that your teacher has written for you, and because your teacher wrote it, it got 100%. Woohoo! Okay, so part A. Contact between Native Americans and Europeans brought changes to the former through disease. So disease is my A in ACE. It is the answer. What is my C, my cite, my example? Diseases such as, that's example, smallpox, malaria, and yellow fever decimated Native American populations. Okay, now I need to explain how did that impact? Remember the question said, how did it bring changes to their society? How did their society change because of these diseases that I've told you and given you examples of? As many as 80% of natives died due to disease, destroying their culture. I answered, I cited, I explained part A. You are now going to go and do part A, B, and C. Sorry, that's wrong. In the Google form that I have linked, okay? If you have any questions about SAQs, check your SAQ cheat sheet that I actually printed out and put in your folder or that I've linked here. Rewatch this video or text or email or meet me on Google Meets and I can help you out. We're also going to be doing an SAQ together on Google Meets today. Second period is meeting from 1 to 1:30 and fourth period is meeting from 2 to 2:30. So make sure that you have attempted the SAQ, this SAQ about contact with natives before then. Okay? Bye, guys.